All right, it looks like I am live. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Tammy Morrison. I am coming live to you because I want to share a very special message that is close to my heart. I am sharing on Tuesdays lessons learned from Queen Charlotte. Now, I was supposed to come on this afternoon, but I have something that I have to do this evening. So I wanted to come on and share this since I committed to coming on anyway. So welcome, welcome, welcome in. If you are coming in on TikTok, please tap that screen. Give me some of those likes. Give me some of those loves. Thank you for all of the gifts and anything. Thank you for being present here with me. But I'm talking about lessons learned from Queen Charlotte, and it's in this Queen Charlotte of the Bridgerton series. So I have to make that clear because I'm not talking about the one from history and all of that stuff because I have not studied that. But I have watched the Queen Charlotte series on Netflix about Bridgerton. And so some of the lessons, I watched this thing, y'all, and I got so many downloads from this show, lessons that we can learn from that show, from the Queen. And so I want to welcome everyone in again. And if you do not know me, my name is Tammy Yancy Morrison. I am a spiritual teacher, mentor, intuitive healer, author, and transformational speaker. And I am open to brand collaborations, and I'm open to collaborations. So, that out of the way, let's go into lessons learned from Queen Charlotte. And so I'm unpacking today. Last week, I talked about she had to embrace who she was. She had to embrace who she was. And so this week, I'm talking about she had to understand her gifts. She had to understand her gifts. And so many times we are going through life and we do not realize, or to be honest, we realize it, but we don't embody the fact that we have gifts. We all have spiritual clair gifts. You know, God speaks to us, spirit, source, the universe, whatever you want to call him, her, or them. You could call him Abraham, but whatever you want to call him, her, or them, they speak to us all the time in different ways. So you can be clairsentient and you can have those gifts where you feel. So like you feel goosebumps, you know, in the presence of different people, or you feel goosebumps for a situation. You know, you can have those gifts where, you know, like for me, I feel stuff in my stomach. And so that also is a part of clairsentience. You can have clairaudience, which means that you hear stuff from spirit, like you hear audible words or voices or sounds or whatever, but you hear stuff, and that is how you are able to communicate. They're able to communicate with you. You know, you can have where you just know stuff, and there are plenty of people out there. A lot of times they are they're called clairvoyance, and that is not correct. It really is a claircognizant, because claircognizant is when you just know stuff, and when you can just see stuff. Now that is what a clairvoyant is. And so Charlotte, Queen Charlotte, had to understand her gifts. And so for her, she had a gift of energy where she could help that king, because he had a mental illness. You know, he was crazy. And so she was able to use her softness and her kindness in order to help him to shift his energy. And she was an energy worker before she even knew that she was an energy worker, because she used to use her energy in order to help him shift. Even the more the people tried to keep her away from him, he was drawn to her because of her gifts. And she actually had to begin to understand her gifts, and she had to understand how to use them. She had to understand that God actually spoke through her and actually used her to help this young king, because he was in a space where, you know, he wasn't, you know, really loving the fact of being a king. I don't think he embraced that or embodied that. I think he really just wanted to, you know, be an astrologer. He wanted to go out and look at the stars and, you know, study those things. And, you know, who could blame him? However, he was trapped in this role where he had to be the King of England. And Charlotte actually was betrothed to him, and had not even met him. So for her to begin to really understand her gifts and what it is that she brought to the table. Now, she was not only a kind-hearted person, she was also very intelligent. And that is another gift that she brought to the table that she had to begin to understand. And she had to begin to trust her intuition, really learn how to trust her intuition, the things that she saw, the things that she heard, the things that she felt. She had to begin to trust that. And so that was one of the things, those are some of the things that she had to learn how to understand so that she could get along in the world and so that she could become the person that she was becoming, the queen that she was stepping into. Because mind you, remember, she was a 17-year-old girl that was getting ready to be the Queen of England. And she actually wasn't even from there. She was from Germany. And so but she was able to step into that space where she began to understand her gifts. And to me, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. And that's one of the things that I help my clients to do. I help them to learn how to understand their gifts and embody who they are, because those are things that many of us don't know, and I'm talking to women and men. A lot of people, a lot of us do not know who we are, and we do not understand the gifts that we carry, and sometimes we want to, look at other people and look at their gifts, and we want to covet what they have, and we want to say, oh, I want to be like them, but we don't know their story. I shared one time before in the past, I had somebody that told me they wanted a marriage like me and my first husband. Notice I said first husband. And so people said, oh, they would love to have a marriage like ours because, we just seem so compatible and blasey, blasey, blasey. But you know what? People, you don't know what goes on behind the closed doors in people's houses. You didn't know what goes on in the closed doors in people's cars when they're on their way to church. Okay, so that part. But I explained to the young lady, you don't want a marriage like somebody else's. You want your own marriage. You want the one that you're destined to have. I said, because you don't know what they went through to get to where they are now. What you see. You don't know what they went through to get to that space. And a lot of times we go through some stuff in order to get to the other side, and so that's one thing, you want to become who you are and not actually spend time, looking at other people and trying to be other people. That is the one thing, especially in this particular area, in this social media place where we live and where we are, so many of us are looking at other people, and we get an imposter syndrome and all of this stuff because, we want to do something that maybe that person is doing, or we're in the same field, we actually basically do the same thing. But what about them is allowing them to do what they do and be successful at it, and it's not allowing you to. And so that's something that you have to consider and think about. And then you have to begin to understand your gifts. Now, for me, when I began to understand my gifts, it actually was a game changer for me. And I'm actually continuing to still understand even more and develop even more of the gifts that I already possess. Because truth, y'all, in fact, y'all, we already possess gifts. We already possess spiritual gifts. God has blessed all of us with all kinds of spiritual gifts. And I talk about the four, the clairaudience and the clairsentience and the clairvoyance and the claircognizance, but there are many more gifts. Those just scratch the surface. Those are like the top four, as we say. But there are so many other ones. I mean, because there's the gift of smelling, and I think it's called clairalience, so you can smell. And so that has happened with me because I love roses, y'all. And so one day I was feeling some kind of way, and all of a sudden I started smelling these roses, but I didn't have any fresh roses in the house, which I typically do because I love roses, and my husband actually is really good at giving me those usually. But I had some dried ones, but I didn't have any fresh ones in the house, but I smelled roses. And so I knew that that was just Spirit's way of helping me to feel good that particular day. I knew that that was just Spirit, because I was feeling out of sorts and stuff like that. And I was working on shifting my own energy, because, sometimes you have to shift your own energy. We don't all feel amazing all the time. We don't all feel amazing all the time. Sometimes we just don't feel good. We just don't feel like ourselves, or we feel in a negative spot. And so for me, I definitely tried really hard to shift that. What's up? And so I tried really hard to shift that. And what I do is, like today, I kind of thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel good today. I try to go into gratitude practices. And so today, y'all, I'm reminding the people that's coming on TikTok that I'm talking about lessons learned from the Queen Charlotte of the Bridgerton series. Now, I'm not talking about the one in history. I didn't go back and do research and none of that stuff. I'm talking about the Netflix series that was on about Queen Charlotte of the Bridgerton series. And so I talked about how she needed to understand her gifts. And so that was one of the things that she began to do. She began to see the gifts that she had, and she began to create the community that she needed to. And so that was another thing that struck me about this series, is that she saw that and she knew that she needed a community. And so she began to create her community. So what I'm saying to you guys is that if you see that and you know that you need a community, and I would appreciate if y'all tap the screen for me on TikTok. But if you realize that you needed a community, then what you need to do is begin to create that community. Begin to create that community. Begin to find those people. Begin to call them out. Begin to speak it out into the universe, what you desire as far as in a community. Because that is something that we all need. A lot of times we don't think we need it, especially if we are introverts like I am. You don't always think you need a community, but you do. You need some like-minded people around you for support and love and the whole space for you and all of these things. And so I'm advising you, if you don't have it, to get that. And so this is what the Queen did. She had some ladies in waiting, and then she had one in particular that she really, loved, the Lady Danbury. And so that was one of the lessons and the things and the gifts that she had, was the gift to begin to create that community. And we all actually have that gift. But she had to understand that she's creating a community. Not only that, she's using her energy in order to run this household that she has to run. And she's using her energy in order to help the king, who she really needed to help him because he was crazy. And so she used the energy that she had in order to do that. And she showed the staff and the people, even the kingdom. She showed the kingdom how a queen was supposed to act, how a queen was supposed to support her husband, how a queen was supposed to use her gifts in order to help forward the kingdom and her husband, which is something that, many of us don't do. Now, for me, I was raised Southern. I'm a Southern girl. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And I was raised in the South. And so that was how they taught us back in those days. I was born in the 60s. And so, in those days, they taught you how to take care of your husband and how to, be a good wife and all that kind of stuff. If you listen. Now, a lot of people didn't listen, but because I stayed under my grandmother, I learned all of these things. So I know how to do that. I know how to be of service, but I also know how to serve as well. So that is, I don't know what that noise is. That is one of the things that Queen Charlotte did so well in this series. She learned and understood her gifts, and she was able to use them in order to parlay herself into a really good life. And she was able to use them in order to, get the things that she desired and get the things that she needed and wanted. So I love that series, y'all, and I had such a good time watching it. Matter of fact, I decided to watch it again because so many things came out of that. And so for me, it really let me know, because I really want to work with people to help them to stand in their power and to step in their glory and to understand and connect to their own magic. And so the things that I do with my clients is I help them to do that, to stand in their power, to connect to their magic, to be activated with the beautiful purple light. And so to really step into all of who they are, and to embrace and embody their gifts and the things that, they are qualified to do, and the things that have been inside of them, lying dormant for all of these years, some of them 10, 20, well, 20, 30, 40 years, And so I love to help people to activate their soul power and to connect to their spirit team and really begin to live the life that they envision for themselves. And so I have a program, Preparing for Your Crown, that I have done that has been inspired by this Queen Charlotte of Bridgerton series, because it just opened up my soul when I got the download from the Holy Spirit that we need this. We need this, preparing for your crown. And I'm super excited to present it. So if you're looking and you are hearing, you're liking what you're hearing, and you're wanting to reach out to me, let's have a conversation about this program, because it is a 6-week program and it actually is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait, y'all, because we're going to dive into, and it's a group program, but it's going to be small group. I don't want a lot of people. It's going to be small group programs so that everybody can get the transformation that they are going to get in this program. So again, thank y'all for hanging out with me. And what I notice is that when I work with people, when they come in one way, and when they leave out, they leave like powerful, unstoppable beings. They come in and they're unsure. A lot of times their gifts are opening up, because I love to work with people on the beginning of their journey. So their gifts are opening up, and they're like, feeling like they're losing their mind, because, they see stuff and they hear stuff, and, they begin to know things, or they already felt that way before, but they felt like it was wrong, because maybe, they were raised super religious like me, and everything, all of those things they tell you is of the devil, and you don't want to be of the devil. And so so you have to get over and get through that stuff, because that is a big one. And so once you get through that and you start realizing that, this is God's source universe speaking to you. This is not the devil. This is God. This is your source. This is the universe, giving you what you need and what you desire and what you probably asked for. So anyway, I just absolutely love coming on here and speaking like this, but I have some things I need to get done. But I want to appreciate you for joining me. And those of you that come through and catch the replay on Facebook or YouTube, I would love it if you would say something to me, comment, say #replay. I enjoyed it, whatever, something. So that would just really, really be awesome. And those of you on TikTok, if you want to watch the whole thing, go on Facebook, on my Facebook page, or go on my YouTube channel. And I think both of those things will be in the bio of the in the bio. So also, I appreciate everyone for joining me. I'm also doing a multi-author book, Passing the Pearls. It is stories about our grandmothers, because I really want to honor my grandmother, and I thought I would invite some more people to come in and share stories about their grandmother. So if that's something that you are looking forward to, or you have a grandmother that you just have to share a story about her, make sure that you reach out to me and let's have a chat. I have a little sales page on it, which is not really that much, but it's a little bit, just a little something, because to be honest with you, it's straightforward. We're writing a 2,500 to 3,000 word chapter on our grandmother, and we're going to put it together in this amazing book so that people can actually get to honor our grandmother. And I call it honoring our ancestors, because for me, my grandmother is my ancestor. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. Those of you that gave gifts on TikTok, thank you for the likes, the gifts, the shares, all of that. But I appreciate you. I will be back on next Tuesday again with another lesson from the Queen. Thursday, I'll be back on with Thursday Healing Chats. And I would love it if you join me, because Thursday Healing Chats, I have something phenomenal that I want to share with you that I have created. So make sure that you are joining me on Thursday. It's going to be phenomenal. I am super, super excited. I cannot wait. So have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, or weekend. Bye now.